Hello, this is my first ever post here, and it might not be the best, but just thought I'd share it. I develop bots for people on Discord, a chat platform for those who somehow don't know. One day, I checked for hiring in a developer server and saw a job of making a simple bot for a cafe group. I messaged the owner and got the job. I coded the bot the next day and waited for a response from the owner. It turns out that the owner was taking a break from Discord, so about a week later, when she was finally back, she'd met me, and I fixed the final bug, and showed them the bot right away. They said thank you for the bot, have a great day, took away my admin role in the server, and blocked me. However, it didn't occur to her that I might be able to give myself admin with a bot. I immediately set the permissions that everyone gets on join to administrator. I'm an admin in a bigger Discord server with about 300 members. I mentioned everyone and told them to join this server, and of course, they notice they have admin within 10 minutes. The server is completely destroyed. I haven't seen their reaction since I left the server, but I bet they will never scam anyone ever again. Edit. I wasn't clear about the fact that I was not paid, for those who didn't figure that out. Also, thanks so much for all of the support. This is by far my most popular post ever, so thank you so much. I worked in a state senator's office with a very smart and capable mom. She was the senator's aide, but that was only for part of the year, and I'm fairly certain she didn't really have a career apart from that. But incredibly capable. This lady would always surprise me with the things she had done. Like once she casually mentioned the time she had gone to some conference in Australia to give a speech, and I was like, wait, what? My favorite thing she told me about was when she destroyed her local PTA. So in the States we have these organizations called Parent Teacher Associations. It's a national organization with local chapters for different schools. They exist to foster relations between parents and teachers, but usually just turn into lots of Karens making unnecessary rules, getting upset over stupid things, and generally causing problems, usually staffed by the type of people who like to create and solve problems to justify their existence, sort of like an hoe for schools. Anyway, this lady was no Karen. She didn't create problems, she solved them. She hated the PTA at her children's school. It was always causing problems and had budget problems when it finally began getting field trips and recess banned, and wasting fundraising money and membership dues on administrative costs, among other issues. She decided she had had enough. She joined the PTA, worked her way through its ranks, volunteered at all the events, ran for office, and became president of the PTA. She then used the bylaws and her influence to disband the chapter. The kicker is then she created her own local club to replace the PTA, one that wasn't influenced by a national parent organization and bureaucracy. She was able to raise tons of money for awesome events, projects, and trips for the students, and ran the club way more effectively than the PTA had ever been, and everyone at the school lived happily ever after. Such a cool lady. TLDR, Cow Walker pulls her on Swanson and replaces her local PTA with her own organization. Okay, so my cousin is a prankster. She likes telling jokes, and one of her favorites is during the holidays. She likes to tell me my uncle, her dad, is coming to pick me up. If I'm being honest, my uncle is not a nice man. He yells at me and everyone for everything. He lies about people to make them look bad and him look good. He makes fun of me for being overweight. He's very verbally abusive. It's gotten to the point where I've pretty much rocked him, which is basically no contact. And her favorite prank is telling me that he's coming to pick me up, to take me to family gatherings, which I usually avoid going to if he's there, and 2 hours in the car with him. That's literally hell. So, a couple weeks ago, she lied and told me he called and was gonna come pick me up for my birthday. I felt like I was having a panic attack. I remember crying, hyperventilating. I was pacing back and forth trying to figure some way out of it. And yes, visiting him is just that bad. He started laughing. I told her that's not funny. She knows how I feel about that man. She said, don't you feel better now that you know he's not actually coming? I haven't forgotten that it's been 2 weeks. I've had enough of that prank. I wanted to prank her to kinda get her back. I remembered her biggest fear: clowns. She's been scared to death of clowns since she was a kid. So I had a friend that's over 6 feet tall dress up in a scary looking clown suit. I told her I got a free dinner for 2 coupon for my birthday to her favorite restaurant and wanted to share it. With her Tabato wheel left, and I had my clown in place. The plan was to stop on the middle of this old rural road and stop the car at a specific spot where my friend was hiding. Everything went to plan. My friend parked his old junk car in the ditch on the side of the road. I stopped and said we need to check it out, see if they need help. While she's looking at it and looking around for the owner, I sneak back to my car. My clown runs out of an old barn and straight for us. She saw him. Frozen, started screaming. She ran to my car, but I sped off before she could get in. I didn't abandon her. I just drove over a hill to where she couldn't see me from where the old car was and watched in my rearview mirror. She tried running with the clown chasing her, screaming for help. He caught up to her and she got on her knees and started crying. He laughed and revealed it was a joke. I drove back and started laughing with him. She told me that wasn't funny, and I repeated what she told me. The "don't you feel better" line. She screamed and yelled. The whole car eyed at me. That I cold scared her to death. I told her that's how I feel when she tells me about my uncle. My dad told me this story a few years back. My grandfather lived in a really rural area in Georgia. This was around the late 1930s, early 1940. My grandfather owned a farm and had a garden. He had planted various veggies. Well, the only neighbors were about a mile away, and for some reason the neighbors would drive their Model T through the garden, tearing up the veggies. My grandpa would have to replant the garden. The neighbors kept doing this. So here comes the revenge part. My grandfather dug holes around the garden and stuck metal poles into the holes. He covered up the holes with leaves. A few days later the neighbors drove through again. My dad said they tore the undercarriage out and had parts strewn all over the place. He couldn't remember what happened after that, but I don't think they did that again.